Welcome back to Never Done Ask with me, John Martin, and we have another station review. We're not on Humberside, we're on the East Riding of Yorkshire for the Trans-Pennine Express run station of Brough. Why I chose Brough? Well, that may be for another video, but we're here on a brisk and drizzly February morning to check out the station. Brough Station lies to the southwest of the town. It is reached from, and this is going to shock everyone here, Station Road. The westbound platform has an entrance onto King's Edward Terrace, and there is also a path from Skillings Lane to the eastbound platform. Brough Station is on the line that runs along the north of the River Humber towards Hull. Broomfleet Station is 5 miles to the west, and Ferriby is 3 miles to the east. Just a grumble on the National Rails interactive map, it makes it look like this station is called Fenby. To understand how this station came to be here, why it mattered, we have to wind the clock back to the great railway boom of the 19th century. In 1836, Parliament authorised the ambitious Hull and Selby Railway, a company formed to link the port of Hull with Selby, and by extension, the wider national network. Just 4 years later, in 1840, the line opened, and Brough became one of its original stations. At the time, it was a modest but important stop on one of Yorkshire's early main lines, carrying passengers, agricultural products, and goods between the coast and the countryside. The railway industry was consolidating almost as quickly as expanding, and in 1854 the Hull and Selby Railway was absorbed into the powerful North Eastern Railway, which controlled a vast network across the northeast of England. Under its management, Brough grew in significance, traffic increased, and the station was rebuilt on a new alignment slightly to the east, with expanding facilities reflecting its growing importance on the busy Hull to Leeds route. But Brough's story is not just one about passengers and parcels. In the early 20th century, it also became closely linked with aviation. Just to the south of the railway line, what would become Brough Aerodrome developed into a major aircraft manufacturing site. Established during the First World War and later home to companies such as Blackburn Aircraft and in the later decades Hawker Siddeley, the aerodrome turned Brough into an important centre of British aviation. The railway station played a crucial supporting role, carried workers to and from the aerodrome, transported components and materials, and connected this relatively small East Riding community to the national industrial effort. During both World Wars, when aircraft production was intensified, the presence of a mainline station just a short distance from the factory was strategically valuable, and the rhythm of steam engines arriving and departing became part of daily life and of aviation workforce building aircraft for the nation. In 1923, North Eastern Railway became part of the newly formed London North Eastern Railway. During the grouping, Brough Station, like the aerodrome beside it, was now operated in a larger national structure. Then in 1948, the railways were nationalised and the station passed into hands of British Rail. Under British Rail, the once quadruple-tracked main line through Brough was rationalised, and by the early 1970s, the layout was simplified into the two platforms we recognise today. The various sidings that served the local industries have now gone. However, you can still see sidings close where the eastern sidings once stood. There are two side platforms here. Both were originally island platforms, but now only the inner platform faces exist. Both platforms are 184 metres long. The Department for Transport classes this as an E category station, which is the smallest category of staffed station. Marked for services, 7 out of 10. This is a busy station with between 10 and 12 off-peak services per hour. So we have 3 train operators here. Northern Train runs the Sheffield to Scarborough via Hull. This runs limited stops between Sheffield and Hull, then runs the stopper towards Scarborough. Sheffield is an hour 5 minutes away, Doncaster 35 minutes away, Hull is 13 minutes away, Bridlington an hour away, and Scarborough is an hour and 3/4. York to Bridlington does miss some of the local stops around here, but York is just under an hour away. Halifax to Hull runs limited stops as well, with Halifax an hour and a half away and Leeds 55 minutes away. The local stopping service is the Doncaster to Hull service. Doncaster is 43 minutes away, Hull is 20 on this service. The Transpennine Express runs Liverpool Line Street to Hull via Manchester and Leeds. Leeds is 45 minutes away, Manchester 1 hour 40, and Liverpool is 2 hours 20. Hull trains run their Paragon service between London King's Cross and Hull. Hull is 11 minutes away, Doncaster 43, Grantham is just over 1 hour 20, and King's Cross is 2.5 hours away. When I visited, Hull train service went on a diversion to St Pancras in 3 hours 15 minutes, despite running fast from Selby, which is probably an indictment of how slow the Midland Line is compared to the East Coast route. The most popular destination is Hull, with 76,883 journeys in 24-25, followed by Leeds, King's Cross, York and Beverley. Entries and exits came to 551,506 entries and exits, which works out at 1,511 per day, with 1,277 services a week, comes out at 8.3 passengers per train. If we include, though, passengers using Brough as an interchange, we come out with 1,540 passengers per day and 8.63 passengers per service. Passenger trends for the station are on the up, and they are well above the pre-COVID levels. Marked for onward travel, 1 out of 5. There isn't a bus stop at the station, and the rail replacement bus doesn't even quite reach here. It's a bit over 5 minutes away to the bus stop for the 55, which is an hourly service between Hull and Goole, although only 3 buses run the whole route to Goole, and other 3 services terminating here at Gibberdyke. Afternoon and evening services are more limited in range. Marks for accessibility, 8 out of 10. The station staffed, has announcements and displays. Both platforms are level access. However, they are level access for completely different roads. But the overbridge has a ramp leading up to it on both sides. Marks for station facilities, 5 out of 10. We have a ticket office here. There are some covered shelters. There's a closed waiting area on the Hull-bound platform. It's open with a ticket office, and there's a closed area on the westbound. There's both a long stay and a short stay car park, according to local signage, either side of the station. And if we agree to believe the National Rail website, there are 172 parking spaces, 7 of which are accessible. We have cycle storage here, both simple frames and also covered storage. What we also have on the Hull-bound platform is a ticket office. Marks for care and character, 10 out of 20. Station is neat. It's well ordered, but lacks much in the character. Both platforms are very wide, having not been reduced in width despite losing the outside platform faces, but not much has been done with the remaining site aside from a car park to the north of the station. In the end, this is 2 bare platforms overlooked by a car park and local industrial areas. It's a mid-score because there's not much wrong with it, but there's little to commend it. Marks for nearby things, 3 out of 10. Brough station isn't particularly close to the town's shops, but there are a couple of things to note. We have the Ferry Inn closer by, and the name references to when this used to be a ferry point across the Humber. Dick Turpin apparently used to frequent here, and it's a cosy pub with good service and a friendly clientele. And then there is the walk along the river. Seeing the signs, I felt there would be some kind of level of maintenance to the path. Nope. Do not come here and attempt the walk after any kind of rain. The path is pure mud, there are no stones or paving for grip, and it was basically the Somme. And despite claims you could see the Humber Bridge dominating the landscape, not really. The 2 towers of suspension bridge were just peeking out past the wind turbines. Don't mistake me, it's a beautiful walk, really close by, but what could have been 30 minutes turned into 90 thanks to the mud. Have you done the walk? What do you think? Leave a comment in the comments. A further note of warning, I had to cut back over the aerodrome, saw what looked like 2 really muddy sections. First turned out to be rubble and a huge relief from the mud. The second turned out to be the Somme plus 4. A massive pile of mud the shoulder paths, yet closer to the proper path. So much for the joys of visiting these towns when you do this. Overall, we have 34 out of 65, which is 52%. Having good service is the saving grace of this station. It's not a particularly welcoming or charming one, but it does its job. Thanks once again for watching this as I travel around the country. Please like, subscribe and ring that bell to be notified of the next station review.